I remember when I met my husband, it was the most beautiful moment of my life. His eyes, they smiled before his lips ever did. He looked at me like I was a story he'd been waiting to read all his life. We had nothing, no money, no plans, no future carved out. But somehow we had everything. We had love, and that felt like enough. I still remember those early years, eating rice and beans on the floor of our tiny apartment, laughing so hard our stomachs hurt, dreaming about all the things we'd build one day. He used to hold my hands and say, "And one day we'll have a home, a family, a garden, and you'll never have to worry again." I believed him. With all my heart I did. Then came our first child, a daughter. He had his eyes. Those same smiling eyes that used to look at me with such warmth. Then another girl, and a boy. Our home was noisy and messy and full of laughter. But as our family grew, so did the distance between us. At first I thought it was normal. Life gets busy. Bills, diapers, exhaustion. But what I didn't realize then was that we weren't just growing older. We were growing apart. We stopped talking like we used to. Stopped holding hands. We were living beside each other, not with each other. He started working longer hours. I started keeping myself busy with the kids. Some nights I'd sit by the window waiting for his headlights, just to feel something that reminded me of the man I fell in love with. My husband is not a bad man. He's a good man, a kind man, but one who needed space. And I needed connection. He would pull away and I would chase. The more I chased, the more he ran. It's strange, isn't it? How two people can love each other deeply, and still be lonely under the same roof. One day I realized I needed something for me. Something beyond being a wife and a mother. That's when I discovered personal development. I started attending small workshops, reading books about growth, mindset, healing. For the first time in years I felt alive. It wasn't about running away, it was about rediscovering myself. But instead of being happy for me, he grew distant. He didn't understand this version of me that was learning to stand taller. He said, "And you're changing." And I said, "Maybe, but I thought we both wanted to grow." The arguments began. Not loud ones, quiet ones that leave bruises on the heart, not the skin. He thought I was chasing dreams that made me forget my home. I thought he was trying to cage me from the world. We were both wrong. We weren't enemies. We were two broken people trying to protect what little we had left. Some nights I cried myself to sleep. Other nights I'd watch him sleeping and wonder, when did we forget how to love each other? We started talking less, touching less, and loving less. But you know what hurt the most? It wasn't anger. It was the silence. Because silence has a way of making love feel like it never existed. I began to question everything. Had we lost each other for good? Was this what marriage was supposed to become? Two strangers raising children under the same roof? I wanted to leave. I really did. I packed a small bag one night. I told myself I deserved better, that I deserved peace. But as I stood there looking at my children sleeping, I remembered the promises I made. I remembered how he used to look at me, not with perfection but with faith. And I realized something. Love isn't something you throw away when it gets hard. Something you fight for. So I unpacked that bag. And I decided to fight. The next morning I made coffee for both of us. Something I hadn't done in years. He looked at me confused. I just smiled and said, "Let's try again." He didn't say anything at first. Just nodded quietly. It wasn't easy. We had forgotten how to talk without pain. So we started small. Little conversations about the kids, about the weather, about work. One night we talked until 2 a.m. No arguments, no tears. Just honesty. I told him I missed us. He said he did too, but didn't know how to find our way back. And right there I realized, maybe we didn't need to find the old us. Maybe we just needed to create a new us. We started going for walks again. Cooking together. Sometimes laughing at the things that once made us cry. We began to rebuild not from the memory of who we were, but from the truth of who we had become. Because we had both changed, and that was okay. People often say love fades over time. But I don't believe that. I think love transforms. It grows quieter, wiser, softer, like sunlight after a storm. We stopped trying to be perfect for each other. We started being honest instead. We talked about our fears, our mistakes, our regrets. He told me he had felt like a failure for not giving me the life he promised. I told him I never wanted riches, I just wanted him. That night we held hands again. And it felt like coming home. Our children noticed it first. They said, "Mom, Dad, you smile more now." And that broke me in the best way possible. Because love isn't about grand gestures. It's about showing up. Even when it's hard. Even when you've both been broken. If there's one thing I've learned through all this, it's that marriage isn't about never falling apart. It's about learning how to come back together. Again and again and again. Sometimes love whispers. Sometimes it shouts. And sometimes it just sits quietly waiting for you to notice it's still there. So no, I didn't give up. We didn't give up. And because of that, we found something deeper than we had before. Not the love of our youth, but the love of our truth. It's not always perfect. We still argue, we still disagree. But now when I look at him, I see not just the man I married, but the journey we survived. And for me, that's enough. If you're struggling in your marriage, if you feel like you've lost the spark, remember, love doesn't die when life gets hard. It only waits for both hearts to meet again. This is Zen, and this is my story. Thank you for watching.